Hey guys, welcome to the Lauren Hour podcast with your girl Alora D. I have a very, very special guest here with me today. I got my homeboy Platinum P. What's up, Platinum?
What's going on? What's going on, world? How y'all doing tonight? How you doing tonight, Miss Laura?
I'm fabulous, baby. Listen, I'm fabulous. Okay, I
Okay,
got you here. I got my drinks here. I'm ready for the night. Okay.
hear you on that. Feel you.
Yes. What you drinking over there, P?
Drinking some of my perfect water and some of our muscle multiplier. Got done working out not too long ago, so got to make sure the muscles get recharged, replenished. So
That is what's up. So, enough about what we drinking on. Listen, guys, we are here to talk about relationships today. So, today's topic is quality versus quantity. And do quality people exist anymore? And what defines quality traits? And this topic has been a discussion between Platinum P and I for about a week now, I want to say.
yeah, just about, and it's very interesting to see what the quality versus quantity debate comes in every time we talk. So finally,
Yes.
we got the world to tune in and offer some insight as well on their part. So I'm
Right.
happy for it.
Right. So, P, let me ask you: when you're searching for a mate, what are you looking for in your mate? And when we talk about quality and quantity, I want you to give me your first picks first. Are you looking for quantity first or quality? And tell me why.
All right. So when I'm looking for my mate, I'm looking for a woman that is has the same characteristics or similar characteristics and traits that I have that I possess.
Hmm.
Because I'm a firm believer that we get what we attract, not what we want. And so if I want a woman that's reliable, that can be counted upon, then I know that I must exhibit the traits to be accountable and approachable when it comes to tough situations. 'Cause let's face it, life is tough.
It
There's,
is.
there's
And
gonna be
relationships are too.
yeah, yeah. This it's no walk in the park. Once you get the an infatuation phase, and you see the beautiful traits, and then
Yeah.
you start digging into the deep dark uglies, and people have a tendency to want to hide them for as long as possible. But
Hmm.
I'm a firm believer, like the ugly's going to come out sooner or later.
Yes, it is. So let me ask you this question, Pete. I'm very curious. So nowadays, people say that they're looking for a quality man or quality woman, and then they're going online, and then everyone says there's no good men out here. There's no good women out here. Do you think it's because they are not looking deeper into what that person holds, their good traits? And I think that some people mistaken good traits for attributes.
Mm,
And attributes is that quantity. What you think?
that's a good point. That's a really good point. I've heard before, like there is no good man, or if there is good men, they're taken or gay. I've heard that before,
Me too.
and I'm thinking like, okay, well, I've been single for a while.
Hmm.
I'm off the market, but for longest of times, especially when I was going through shadow work, I ex- I expressed the intent on wanting, when I find my mate, then I
Uh-huh.
actually would be able to give her what she needs. So, I mean, quantity. We talking about traits here.
Give me a trait that you've seen in the spouse your mate that you're with now. What was the number one thing that her number one trait that attracted you to her, and you said, I think I can do a first date or a second date with her?
Compatibility. We were compatible. We have similar interests, business wise, and where we want to go with our future.
Hmm.
I'm a I like to think about the vision. I like to think about the future, and it's refreshing to be with a woman that is not just about the present, but also thinking about the future as well. And that was among the first of many conversations we had, and it was compatibility. So
Okay. And the fact that, so let's say the trait was she was goal driven. that was one of the traits.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
She was goal driven, and she let it be known like she had boundaries too. And like her boundaries for me was like, are you kidding me? Like that's I eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like you want somebody to open the door or something. You want somebody to listen to you when you actually are upset. Like I listen to myself. Of course I'm gonna listen to you.
Right. So,
Well, what about you? What
so
traits do you see? Do you find?
for me, intelligence. Like for me, that's the first thing that I'm going to see in someone, and the fact that they thirst for more knowledge. I am so attracted to men who really aren't okay with just what they learned in high school or what they learned in college. They're always pursuing something new, and it doesn't necessarily mean career wise, but they can be just taking extra classes to add to like certifications that they have already. I think intelligence look good on men. That's just my thing.
Yeah.
But another trait that I would say is being able to communicate. And I think that a person might not understand always like how to communicate, but they understand either they're lacking or that they can do it more effectively, which is similar. But I think that's a trait where you can understand where you're lacking at as far as situations like communication. Some men be like, I know how to talk to women, I know how to communicate. And be like, but sir, I'm telling you, you do not know how to communicate.
So I was just thinking as you were saying, like, so when someone says that they can communicate, but clearly like, nah, you can't. So what are some red flags do you see about somebody that's not have the ability to communicate?
Deflecting.
That's big.
Yes. Deflecting, or always playing a reverse role. Someone who can't communicate likes to reverse the roles on you a lot.
That's
And
called gaslighting.
yes, gaslighting. That is the term that we're going to use today. So I have three. So it is deflecting. Not being able to be able to self-reflect. Someone who I always have to tell, listen, this isn't okay. I think that a person who can't recognize their wrongs or self-reflect, I think that is a red flag, because sometimes we have to be able to correct ourselves. We shouldn't need a third party always. Self-reflection is big for me.
Amen.
So that's a red flag. If you can't self-reflect, if you deflect all the time, or you're not able to take criticism, no criticism. That's a red flag, because if you can't take criticism, where is the room to grow?
That's right. I mean, there was a couple of sayings that came out my head, or I was thinking about, was failure is fertilizer. And how can you expect to grow as a person if you're not willing to take risks?
Right.
And especially in relationships where you have different ideologies, you have different backgrounds. The person might have been an only child, while versus the other person might have been the middle of five kids. There's some philosophical shifts, and after the attraction and seeing how attractive they are on the outside, you get to the nitty gritty and trying to communicate, and you see that you're not able to have a conversation with them because they just deflect, or not able to accept responsibility, or don't have the discipline to correct themselves. Yes,
right.
Absolutely. That might be the top three. That might be top three, Alora.
Right. And then also, you know what? I want to get into, we're going to talk about traits a little bit more, but I also want to get into, I'm trying to share all of this stuff in Messenger. Hold on. So some of the things that I wanted to address was, how do we pick? Because people always say there's, like I said, they say there's no good men out here, there's no good women out here, but they exist. And the problem is most people, they just date with their eyes. It's like you go to a buffet and you get so much more hungrier once you see what's out there because the food is looking good, right? But we're not taking the chance to think, is that nutritious for me? Is that healthy for me? And I think that is a problem with dating now. People aren't thinking about the benefits of dating certain people just because they look good. You know, that buffet is a smorgasbord out here, but because that person is wrapped up in a nice bow, they look good, then people jump, I want to be with him. I want to be with him.
Right.
But they haven't thought about what is this going to do for me? What you think about that?
Shoot. A lot of times it's soul food versus eye candy. When you get a
Right.
whole lot of eye candy, you get upset stomach, you get indigestion. You have to call on Pepto Bismol. Because it's rotten. It's not good for you. Long term. I mean, if you eat enough soul food, good soul food, you get the itis as well.
Right.
End up getting sleepy. But people date what they accustomed to. They date based upon their environment, what they see
Mm,
in their environment, and
that makes sense.
and the pool that I can speak for myself. The pool that I see myself dating in, you know,
Hmm.
discovered that like, this is unsatisfactory for me. Like, so I'm not able to even have a decent conversation with you. Like, okay,
Right.
so
Right.
I had to do the very uncomfortable thing and expand my comfort zone and get out into my network, expand my network. A lot of people, I
That's
feel like,
smart.
do that. Your network determines your net worth, and if you're not willing to go out and find out what you are into or what you're not into, most importantly, then how would you know what your ideal partner would be?
Right. And that is trying, like you said, kind of this venturing off and trying new things. And I think that some people who date a particular type of person, I definitely think they should get out of the norm. So if you're interested in trying to date and you want to see how this is going to go and your last relationships went sour, maybe change up the men, maybe change up the women that you're dating. So if you're a person who's always looking for looks, maybe you should go on intelligence, and they ain't got to be ugly, but let's start looking deeper because people don't understand, if you would get past the looks, your soulmate might be out there. And then number two, if you could look past finances, let's dig into that. So a
Mm.
lot of people are saying, women, unfortunately women are saying they can't date a man who works at Mickey D's. What is wrong with a man who works at Mickey D's if he is loyal, if he is trying to progress towards a goal? But that's not his end journey. That is his stepping stone to get to his new career. But she don't want to date him right where he is because that is not the ideal man for her.
It's societal pressure. That's what it is.
Mm,
Like Ron from Ronald McDonald, like he could be working at Mickey D's, and there's a lot of people that would attempt to clown him because he's working at a job where chances is he's going to come back home because he's not doing anything that could endanger his life. Now,
right.
we live in a crazy world; anything can happen. But whether you work at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, the Lord's place, or the post office, there seems to be a stigma with guys or with guys that work these honest living jobs as if they're not hustlers. Like,
Right.
and and honestly, in my opinion, could be no further from the truth. But
Right.
I think it's because of, again, the environment. Like, we place more. I don't want to say clout. We place more prestige on someone that is a go getter.
Right.
But being a go getter can also mean you're locking on a job, and
Yeah.
that's only temporary, bridges for financial independence. But
Right.
when you short sighted, or when the vision isn't there, you just look at the here and now. Like Ron
Right.
works at the McDonald's here and now. He very well could be learning some key traits that will allow him to own McDonald's and go on to
Mhm.
have other successful franchises.
But let me throw this in the pot. Even though Ron might work at McDonald's and she's like, oh, he works at McDonald's, Ron might be the one who will love her, wine and dine her when he can afford it, be there for her emotionally, be there to stimulate her mentally, and just be her backbone, or, you know, his backbone, whatever you like, whatever floats your boat. But I think because of today's society and social media has programmed people to think that you should only date bad bees. You should only date dudes who are what's they called, D-boys, or they got the grills, or they're wearing the Gucci belt. Because let me tell you, the first time I see a Gucci belt, I'm just like, don't even look my way, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm cool, but I don't want to get long-winded. But
you know, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is why dating in 2022 is so hard, is because we look at all of these things, but we don't look at the person. That's like I said, when we're at the buffet, we see the food, it looks good, but we're not looking if it's nutritious for us. Go ahead.
More power to the people that wear the Gucci belts and
more power to you.
Like more power. Like this, I don't believe the issue is wearing those things. Like you generated your income somehow, some way, and that is the image that you want to portray. That's fine. Like that's how you feel. That's where your self-image is. That's great. That's fine.
That's true.
You know, for lack of a better term, it's like hunter and gatherer type of deal. Like I don't want to be like prime Morty or whatnot. Primitive. That's the word I'm looking for. But it's like, I do want to attract a mate. I want to attract a solid mate. And let's say Betsy for a second. Like Betsy looks really good. Like she has the dimension, she has the curves, you know. And this is all before Betsy starts saying anything. Like she just looked good. She looked very desirable, you know. And like we try and figure out, what does Betsy like, you know, on the outside looking in. Like Betsy, again, environment plays a factor in what she likes.
It does.
She could be an outlier, like in essence. She could be someone that is really like to herself and read books and you know. But you know, between Ron and Deron, right?
Ron and Deron.
Trying to figure out, like, I want this woman's attention. So how can I get it? And if you're not in, okay, depending on the environment, you're gonna do whatever that's in your tool belt in order to get her attention.
Right.
Or not. Some, you know, there are people out there, guys and women, like they're not necessarily trying to get somebody's attention. They're just being themselves. But you know, psychologically, you don't want to date a loser. And loser, in my opinion, is someone that's not willing to go to war with you, that in the first, second, or third sight of issues is going to turn it back on you. You don't want to be a loser. So you want to be with somebody that's strong.
And that's a good quality. And what we wanted people to understand is those type of qualities matter. And people tend to skip over that. And the problem with humans is we sometimes crave adventure. And even if we have something stable, the thought of adventure, the thought of this person being a bad boy or a bad girl, it draws us in more. And then that's when the thought process of what qualities does this person possess for me to even embark on a relationship with them? Will they stay up with me and hold my head while I'm barfing over the toilet? While I'm sick, will they at least try to attempt to make me some chicken noodle soup? And most of the times, I think that we leave quality out and we go to quantity because we want to show off quantity. And we don't care about showing off quality. And then people don't understand why we end up in divorce court. They don't understand why people are out here going nuts over these women or over these men. And that's just like, let me give an example. I'm going to have to do Chrisean Rock and Blueface. Let me give an example. So right now, we don't see the qualities in Blueface, right? We don't know what his qualities are, but I can tell you that one quality is, and a man is, he's not going to have you out here looking crazy, laying on the ground, getting arrested by the police. He's not going to be out here buying chains publicly for his baby mama. And he's not going to blast you on social media every chance that he gets. That is not quality. That is definitely quantity because of his status and because Blueface represents the industry rap. And for her, he is the it guy because his name is Blueface. So she threw out the quality because she no longer cares about the quality. So is what he has. And hey, Sean. Hey, the Evening Rush Network. How you guys doing?
You know what's really interesting as well is like when you mention about like Blueface or other artists and you equate them to quantity, like there are more guys out there that has that similar persona.
Yes.
Like, and again, like it reverses from quality. And if we're looking at quality people, like we already named at least 3 or 4, red flags.
Mm-hmm.
In a second, we can talk about like the green flags, but that makes a great point. Like, she tossed away whatever she's looking for. I mean, and again, she could be looking for just that. She could be looking for just that.
She could. I doubt it, but she could.
But when it comes with quality versus quantity, like there are enough guys out there where if that person is no longer the it guy, man, about 5 months, a year later, it's going to be another it guy. And they come onto the scene, and there's going to be plenty of, fans on his.
Let me ask you this. How many of the good guys did she pass by because they were so-called lame? They didn't have that status.
It's unknown.
Yes.
It's unknown.
And this is an issue that I want to raise, and I got to raise this for the ladies because I'm a lady. Ladies, we have to stop passing these good guys along because they're squares. And this is the thing, like women who be popping, they don't be wanting to talk.
What is a square? Let's start there.
So square. So a square is a guy who is focused. He is career focused, and he isn't focused on the fast track to get in there. Or he does things in a traditional fashion where a guy who has a quicker lifestyle, like being a rapper, that's a quicker lifestyle to get into the money. But a guy who works a traditional 9 to 5 and is smart and intelligent and he is about his paper and his people, those guys get overlooked. And then you have the women crying, there is no, and I'm gonna have to say this. I hate to say it. I hate to say it for my sisters because they be like, there ain't no good black men out here. Like, how? Listen, if you didn't screw him over and tell him he was too lame for you or he was too broke for you, you would have a good man. But instead, you wanted to go talk to Deshaun, the federal inmate of the prison system in Ohio for the last 20 years and talking about, so take it out, we getting married. Okay, him and the other 5 women he's communicating with, I guess y'all all just gonna be sister wives. And that's what I'm talking about. And black ladies, don't get on me, don't be mad at me, because y'all know it's sure it be black women always talking about the white women taking all the good black men. Nah, they not, sis. Y'all scaring them off because the black men are like, bro, why most of the sisters out here shaking their behinds on social media? But then black men be saying that, but then y'all be loving it because y'all watching it. If you start watching it, they won't do it. So it's a 2 + 2 thing.
Laura, when you said square, the first person I thought about was Russell Wilson. And I don't personally believe he's a square. This is a prime example of a man who, like, that. Okay, there's other facets. There's the traditional 9 to 5. Let's talk about the entrepreneur. And being a business owner is not as glamorous as one believed that it could be.
It isn't.
Because it's long, it's drawn out, and there's many times where you have to go years without seeing a profit before you break even, before you
That's true.
see some type of fruit from your tree.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, if you don't have that vision to see in the future, then you're not going to have the discipline in order
Right.
to wait for it. So again, Russell Wilson went to a college, a couple of colleges. Wisconsin came in my head, and MC State. Got drafted by the Seahawks. Ended up, becoming one of the greatest quarterbacks in this era, and at the same time, being consistent, being great at his craft, and
Mm-hmm.
attracting the eye of Sierra, which I grew up with Sierra, music wise.
I'm about to say, sis.
I do not know sis. I
Sis.
do not know sis. Not yet. We're
Not yet.
We're gonna see that to his listing.
He aiming high. Okay.
Wilson's, but Russell ended up just being consistent, and being solid, now there's been some shots on his character lately, but I come to see him as a genuine dude, and
right.
and people are just absolutely they're pulverized by either they love him or they can't stand him.
Right.
And he haven't done shit to them.
Right. But let me ask you this though. Why is it that there's other black men calling this black man a square? Is it because our culture has been poisoned? I'm gonna say it, poisoned so much through hip hop, the current hip hop, that men no longer see that it is acceptable to not embarrass your wife, to not embarrass your girlfriend, to not embarrass your spouse, and women too, because I can't put this all on men, because women nowadays too, they'll be out here just cheating and doing what they want to do. But I think that for a black man to essentially call Russell Wilson a square, and that family kind of represents the current Cosbys as we grew up. And because when I look at them as like the Cosbys, because you see two parents in the house, they're successful, they're raising their children, they're doing what they're supposed to. I mean, she's no Claire Huxtable, but you know what I'm saying. But it's shouldn't that be the goal, that we present families like Sierra and Russell Wilson? And we know they go through stuff. All marriages do. I go through stuff in my marriage. It's not perfect. But the fact that he can sit here and put this woman on a pedestal and worship the ground that she walks on, and she does the same thing for him. Shouldn't we push that agenda more? Not just for black families, but families in general. And think about that. There's nothing wrong with that type of quality man. That's what we should be looking for. And we should be looking for a quality of woman. I'm not gonna say Sierra, but just I don't know enough about Sierra. But I'm gonna use her. We're gonna say a quality woman, because you know why? She stand by her man. She's raising those kids with her man, and she out here getting them checks.
Amen.
Nothing wrong with it.
Amen. And in my opinion, that is the epitome of strength. When you have people who don't even know you by your middle name talk dirt and throw dirt on your name, and instead of having the impulsive reaction of, well, I don't know you, but forget you, and so on and so forth. Instead of, using hate, you brush it off. Or I think the reason that he just knows who he is and who he is, both him and Sierra, and that type of attitude is contagious.
It is.
But at the same time, it's all societal. It's environmental. Yes. You look at this family as the golden standard, and there's going to be some people that look at it as man, that's a whole bunch of coyness right there. I couldn't ever I'm
gonna address this comment real quick.
Go ahead.
So Randy Easter says, most of us grew up in broken homes. We don't see that as normal. And you know what, Randy, I agree with you. That is so sad, because as most of you guys know, my aunt and uncle raised me, but I was actually still blessed to be in a home with two parents, even though they weren't my parents. But they took me in. And even though we don't see that every day, Randy, we should normalize it. We should definitely normalize it. And it shouldn't be corny. It should be, I aim to be that type of father in my children's life. Like you have people like Future and that one guy from the Pivot Point podcast who's like, yeah, Russell's definitely lame. Like, sir, you're probably paying for butt implants, breast implants, and for these women to get something sucked out, this and this and that, and just to send them off to say you build the hoe. That so we don't even care about your advice, sir. I don't want no man who's looking to build a hoe. I'm just not.
And again, let's again, what are we looking for exactly?
Yes.
Are we thinking about longevity? What did Randy say?
So Randy said, most of us grew up in single parent households. So what we see as children is what we're accustomed to in today's environments.
I'll be transparent. Like I grew up in a single parent household as well. Mm-hmm. My daddy passed when I was 6 years old. Now I'm 32. I don't look it. But being 32, being raised in a single parent home, and there's a lot of information out there, especially in the golden age that we're living in. So, and here's another point I was making, Laura, a few days ago. Like our gates, we must become the gatekeepers to our ear gate, our eye gate, and our mouth gate. What we hear, what we see, and what we choose to speak. And in our environment where we were raised up in broken homes, like, you know, unfortunately, we do not get to choose the environment we grew up in. But over time, we end up making that choice of what we choose to pay attention to, what we choose to emulate, what we choose to push out into the world. Because a friend told me one time that when it comes to choice, when we were born, we look like our mother and our father, but by the time we leave this world, we look like our choices. So,
oh, I love that. Yo, listen, y'all better take this podcast back and write that down. That was some fire he just gave y'all. That was some fire. I love that. I love that. And Platinum, I'm actually a few more questions. So, what defines a good woman, and what traits do she has to show to define her as a good woman? Because I think, and let me break down why I asked this. There was a divorce court episode I was watching, and a woman said, "Why do you love your husband?" And the woman said, "Oh, he buy me things, he takes me on trips," and that can't be the reason why. That can't be just the definition of love, you know, or that can't be just the definition of a good man, you know. So, what do you, or a woman? Shaka's bar.
Like that. It's my definition of a good woman is pretty much the same definition of what makes a good man is knowing our traits, knowing what it is that we're strong at, what we're weak at. Right. Again, I'll be transparent. Like, and I'm far from perfect. Like, I'm not focused on perfection. I focus on progression and progression every day. Knowing that what's my I have a temper, and it took many years. Yeah, I know, right? I know.
No, sir.
We're working on it.
No, sir.
We're working on it. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm very passionate.
I love you some Sagittarius now.
I love Leos too. Shout out
Period.
Period. Right. You know, a good woman, like a good man, like a good person, is someone that knows, that's self-aware, that knows who they are, knows who they want to be. And a good woman for me, again, like I look to attract who I am. So I want a woman that is going to be accountable. Yeah, there's going to be an opportunity to buy things, but there's going to be times where we might have to delay gratification. You know, that was a very unfamiliar term for me growing up. Like the first signs of me getting something really nice, like go ahead and cop that. Like, why not? Because I never had it before. Like I want to know how that feels like. But, you know, I'm coming to learn and discover, like, in order to gain something even greater later, you have to be able to sacrifice some things for now. And I feel like in our generation, we have a very tough time sacrificing for things.
I would agree with that. And let me tell you, I have been conversing with a few of my male friends because like I knew we was gonna do this podcast, and I
Yeah.
was asking them because there's a few of them who are single, right? And it's shocking to me because I'm a married woman, but I ain't blind now. I ain't blind. I love you, honey. No disrespect. No disrespect at all. No
Mm.
disrespect. But I have a couple of friends who happen to be single. Let me read this question first. In this, I don't know, misogyny society, it's hard to teach kids right and even have a relationship when people are getting misinformation. Thus, divorce rates continue. Ooh,
Ooh,
that,
that's a door.
ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my, Randy, let me tell you, Randy be coming with that fire. He be having that fire. I agree. I agree.
There's some key traits like that leads to
That just
divorce,
do.
and
That just.
miscommunication is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Miscommunication, like to not have the ability to communicate, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
settle differences, because again, we come from different backgrounds. It's not always gonna. There's gonna be some compromises. It's gonna be some concessions, but you know, I feel like again, society and feeding that ego of like I gotta be right all the time. Like you're gonna do what I say, and you're
Yes.
gonna do what I say, and if you don't do what I say, you get out.
Right.
I'm
And
trying not to curse today.
right. And I have to check myself. I have to check myself in my marriage because there's times where I have that type of attitude and I'm like, girl, you gotta check yourself because you definitely not even right. And if I get out of line, I definitely make sure I go and apologize. What?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I'm about to lose power. Hold on. So go ahead and talk for a second. I'm trying to get my computer together.
All right. So while we're getting the technical difficulties out of the way, it's a matter of being able to know what do we look for, what we attract in, because just knowing what we want is just not enough. And so we was talking about red flags earlier, coming towards relationships, quality versus quantity, and we're gonna start talking about green flags. And strength was definitely one of them. Strength, communication, being able to communicate with your partner. When Allura asked me what was it, some things I look for is exactly like a person that knows who they are, and traits like the toxic traits, and knowing that nobody's perfect. Like I go into a relationship knowing like, okay, have you been doing work on yourself? Have you been doing some shadow work? Because if you haven't, that's fine. Maybe you need that space for you to do what you need to do. Because
Mhm.
what you're not going to do is disrupt my peace. Like that cost a lot. It costs a lot to gain the peace that I have now. Like, and
Preach.
someone could very well just not be aware. Like, and I have no issue, no problem whatsoever. Like highlighting, letting you know what some steps you could do because your journey is different from my journey.
Exactly.
We're gonna be on this journey together.
And we don't learn the same.
Yeah, one commonality is like there's going to be challenging days, but as
That's
long as
right.
you know that you are looking to do something more with your life, like the challenge days is never going to last. It's never going to
Mm,
last.
that's
You know?
right.
So,
That's right. I agree.
but but if you always under the gun and always feel like the sky is falling all the freaking time, like no, we can't be together. We're incompatible.
I feel that though. Like I ain't gonna lie, I kind of feel that though. I really do. But like I was saying, I had was asking some of my male friends that I have. Like I asked them a question because I wanted to know because I'm nosy as heck. Why are you single? Because like I was looking at them like, oh, y'all single? Why y'all single?
Mhm.
And some of the responses were some women cheated, some women weren't willing to walk the path of that they were walking. One of them was just starting, like you said, just starting off his business. He had left his 9 to 5, and he was an engineer. He was
Mhm.
an engineer, and he was making money. And the girl that he was dating, she was, because I don't want to sound stereotypic, but she was really pretty, super fit, and she wasn't willing to go along with the ride. And he caught her because of what he was driving and what he was doing. Once he started his business, and I ain't put your name out there, but once he started his business, he put that stuff to the side. He went and bought him a car that he paid off. He paid that mug off. I'm not even gonna name his car because y'all probably know him and he'll get mad at me. But anyways, she wasn't willing to walk that journey. So he told me, he's like, he decided to stay single because the trauma of how she did him made him question himself and his worth. And I was just like, I kind of had to, put the kid gloves on a little bit with him. And I had to tell him, I said, listen, it's not that it's you, is how you chose to present yourself to her. When you presented yourself to her as this guy who had it all the way together, you super shiny, and she thought, okay, this is the type of guy who's just going to always take care of me. And when that was off the table, she wasn't willing to stand 10 toes down. And the thing is, when you present yourself to someone like that, you have to look at their traits. You have to put them through the test before you actually show them all it is. I said, you should have took her on the first date in a Honda Accord, took her somewhere that was super inexpensive. But when you give someone who because he said it, you knew she was kind of superficial. You knew she was superficial. You knew what you was getting into. I love you though. But anyways, he knew that she was superficial, but instead he just winged her into his lifestyle. This is what I got. I got this. It was instant gratification. So she's like, oh shit, excuse my language, I didn't hit the jackpot. And then when he could not take that job seriously anymore because he's a colored man and he didn't feel like he was moving where he needed to move quick enough, and he says, okay, I'm done with this. I'm leaving this alone. And we're going to go move in with my mom, which he did. He moved in with his mother, started his business. His business is flourishing now. He got like 5 houses down here. And congratulations. I need a house. But anyways.
And was plugged.
But it was the fact that, and that's why I'm saying, it's not you, bro. It's not you. Is you need to not just think with your eyes. You need to think with your mind. You need to think with your soul. And sometimes having the girl who isn't the prettiest isn't the cool thing. For love, for men who wear their hearts out on their sleeve, because he does, I'm getting long-winded, let me hurry up. You have to not think with your eyes, baby. You can't think with your eyes. If you are truly a lover, I need you to think about the whole package. Is she going to hold me down when I fall off? Is she going to love me if I get burned in the face with acid? Is she? I know that's just random, right?
No. This is good. That's really good. Keep it up.
I mean, what is she going to add to me too? Because we can't be in a relationship just feeding one person. We got to feed each other. If she going to wake up in the morning and tell you sweet nothings while you tell her sweet nothings, is she going to be willing to take off her clothes and you take off your clothes and y'all just hold each other and just practice intimacy without the sexual act? Is she willing to do that with you? And women, you guys need to think that way too, because it's not just for the men. So, we have to think about, go ahead, P, because I'm, me. I
was going to mention, have you ever seen the movie A Bronx Tale?
I love that movie. She opened the car door. She was there and locked it. Yes, that's the test.
Good. I'm glad.
That is the test. That's what I base my love story on. Okay.
Okay. So for the viewers that may or not be familiar with A Bronx Tale is a movie made in the 90s, and he was Latino, right? The guy was Latino or Cuban. Anywho, okay, Hispanic. And he ended up
Italian. He was Italian.
He was Italian. Okay, thank you. Colorgio. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay, so the man ended up attracted to this colored woman, this more melanin woman. And he went to one of his elders. He was the very, very high mob boss in the neighborhood, and he had him use his car. But
it was De Niro. It was Robert De Niro.
It was Robert De Niro. Okay. Yeah. And the test was, now this is way before automatic doors, and you could just lock the doors and
It was.
lock the doors and open the doors. Okay, what happened was that so you lock both doors. You go to the passenger side, you let the woman in. You open the door, let the woman in, and then you walk towards the trunk of the car and you pause. You pause for a few moments, and if that woman does not open up the door to your driver's side door, then she failed the test.
Mm-hmm.
Different iceberg, potentially selfish, things about herself. But if she opens up the door, the driver's side door for you, then you could have a keeper. And
Yep, you got
be
me.
one of the great ones.
It's little tests like that.
And unfortunately for your friend, she would have not opened up the door at all. At all.
No, she wouldn't have.
So like
I'm gonna beat her up when I see her. Said I'm playing.
Would you be willing to, if you had to delay gratification, it sounded like your friend also had to do that, moving back in with his mom, which that was very smart to do, wise to do, to lower expenses. Like, would that person be willing? It's not just women, but let's talk about guys as well. Like, would they be willing to not be the breadwinner for a period of time if the woman was a lawyer or accountant or a person that has a high paying position like a judge or something? Like, would you be willing to put your quote unquote ego to the side and see like your value is not just about monetary value? Your value is a lot more than that.
Right.
And again, it's either or gender. Like if the person, because that's societal teaching. Like I'm the man, I gotta bring on the bread, but I'm a mailman, and my lady is a lawyer. Like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to fill in the gaps, and she's gonna do whatever she needs to do to fill in the gaps. Because again, we're attracting what we want.
Right.
Again, like it's all about knowing like what are you willing to put up with, what are you willing to tolerate, and what are your non-negotiables. When you talk about quality versus quantity, like there's like boundaries that people must set up. Like what enough is enough.
Right. And that's the thing too. We don't have enough people willing to come into something and set boundaries. By your 4th or 5th date, boundaries should be up. You should be telling this person, and you could be throwing them little keys during the 1st date. I let people know automatically. I'm not down to 3-ways. First of all, I'm not down to. I'm not playing. Why? Because you have to say stuff like that. Like, listen, I ain't with it. If I'm committed to you and we together, I ain't with it. Because my love is just for you, and I don't play around with that. Or also, I'll let them know, like, I'm not down for one-way gifting. I receive gifts a lot. I like to receive gifts, but I also give gifts. But don't ever expect just me just buying you something and you not giving it back. And don't ever just think that I can't feel your love tank and you don't feel mine neither. Like I am all about 100. And I always tell people, like before I got married, like when I'm coming into this is not 50-50, baby. You give it your all, I'm giving it my all. And those are kind of like the boundaries that I set up. But also I wanted to go ahead.
One thing I heard immediately was reciprocation. That is a green flag. I think that's a green flag to you want to talk about quality traits. We talked about strength, having strength of commitment, being reciprocate. What are some other like green flags?
Understanding. That's a great quality trait. Yeah. Being understanding.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even when you're not able to understand immediately, having the patience in order to like give that space towards understanding.
Right. I get that. And then another great quality trait I would say is I want to get out of finances, because finances is cool and all, but if I love you and I love you, I'll be there with you in a cardboard box. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna remove finances. Reliability. I have to be able to rely on you when my back is against the wall. And I have to be able to rely on the fact that you'll understand that you need to be able to play a position in your own life too, because I think sometimes women and men, we get engulfed in relationships and we don't hold the people that we're with accountable for their own futures. We try to fix them all the time. So a great quality trait is for a person to understand themselves. You have to understand yourself before I can really bring anything and add any more to you. You have to know what you want. You have to know what you like, because essentially you're going to need to communicate those things with me. And if you don't know those things about yourself, how can you tell me what you need? You know, what you think? Go ahead.
Um, you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
It really boils down to, like, if you notice that you might be lacking in an area, like, the ability to be patient is a skill that can be learned. A lot of these traits that we're talking about tonight, it can be learned, and it's skills, and it all boils back to, like, what are we willing to do? What are we willing to learn? Or in fact, what are we willing to unlearn?
Right.
Because
I like that. What are we willing to unlearn? There you go.
there are a lot of information again that's being blasted at us, at 24 hours. 24 hours news network, 24 hours media network, um, Instagram, Reddit, read it, Reddit,
Mhm.
a lot of these sites that you just get information, like just picking plums and apples off the tree and stuff. And, like, if you're not aware of what it is that what you want to feed and what you want to reciprocate, speak out, then you just say anything. Like,
Right.
you don't, again, with your mate, you want somebody that is able to lead themselves as well as lead you. But if
Right.
they're able to
Right.
lead, they're not able to lead themselves, then I'll put it like this: if you don't have a destination, any route will take you there. You know,
Baby, you better say it.
like,
And
I'm
and
just
not
saying,
all routes are the best route.
I'm
Y'all
just
know.
saying, if you're out on the sea and you don't know where your destination should be, like, no wind is favorable. It'll just keep
Right.
swimming you around the water. Like, and that's what loops look like. That's
Mm,
what toxic relationships look like. Like,
right.
that's what, like, endings and like loose ends look like.
You
It
better say that. You better
it,
say that. You better
it's,
say that.
it's
And oh, sorry to cut you off. But
no, that's it.
I got you, ladies. Ladies, I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. I'm a lady. But ladies, I'm gonna have to hold us accountable. Stop beating down on these men. Stop saying there's no good black men out here. Stop saying these men are squares. Stop passing these men by because society says that they're squares. I am here to boost and uplift our men because the fact of the matter is, I'm a woman, I'm a black woman, and I love men. And I love black men. I love all men, particularly black, though. But, anyways, I just wanted to say that because men catch so much flack. Like, men have to be masculine, they have to be the breadwinners, they have to be the foundation, but they're never allowed to break down, or they're never allowed room for them to be human, so we have to quit that. Like, I literally just chewed my husband out about an hour ago, then I had to sit here and realize, girl, that man is doing what he can do. He is doing the best he can do. And I had to kiss him, tell him I love you. I'm not divorcing you.
It's good to know.
Forgive me. Y'all know me. I'm an open book. But yeah, let me read this comment though. During the time being single, you have time to better yourself, learn to do more of jack of many trades, and learn to be a better person for the next baby. You had to say that for the next relationship, Randy. Yes, I love Randy so much. He is such a sweetheart, and oh my goodness, he should be modeling Sean John. I know Sean John isn't around anymore. He need to be modeling Gucci, Fendi. I don't care, Balenciaga. He need to be on somebody's stage.
I mean,
Just put him in a hair show. Just dress him up. Just let him walk down somebody's runway.
every time I looked at his profile picture, it looked like a Sub-Zero type deal. Like, okay,
Yes, it do
yeah,
right.
Mortal Kombat. All right, I'm with it.
Right. No, but you know what I love about Randy though is his way of thinking, and uh, um, I love people who aren't afraid to think outside the box, who aren't just they aren't drones. He isn't programmed to think like everyone else, like you. I love you because of that about yourself. I love my husband because of that. I love people in general who just they get it. Like life is freaking hard. We're not gonna let our past hold us back. We're gonna freaking do better, get better, but we're gonna understand the poisons that are around us, essentially.
Amen.
Yes, but we're supposed to be doing only 30 minutes, and it's 55 minutes into the show. Let me tell you, and Platinum showed up, baby.
Appreciate it. No, it's like you giving me this space in order to operate and be able to talk about things that's near and dear to us. Like, thank you. Like, for real. Like, it's not like I know I can only speak for myself, but for other guests that you had, like, we appreciate the growing viewers that you're gaining as well. So
Thank you.
It's really dope.
Shout out to my viewers. Y'all ain't one. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Like Platinum, let me tell you something. I'm gonna speak life into you because any chance I get, I'm gonna do it. Platinum, you are on a path that is unlike any other you've been on before. Trust me. This path, your destination is been planned ahead of time, and you're going to enjoy this ride. You're going to meet many new people. I know this because I'm claiming this over you, and just your personality and your thought process. Your personality is contagious, period. You're going to open so many doors just with your personality alone, and then your smile and the fact that you're willing to think unlike other people. Like some people just hear something and they'll just take it for face value. You're willing to dig. You're going to do the research, and then you're going to see, how does this fit for me? I'm going to take this part of this message and I'm going to apply it in my life. And I love that about you. I really do. And that's why when I seen your channel, and for people who don't know, I've never met Platinum a day in my life. And somehow we came across each other on this Blue app. And we've been friends ever since, and he is such an amazing person. Guys, check out his channel, Platinum P, on YouTube. I'm telling you, if you guys want to feel good about yourselves, if you guys are feeling down and you guys may not understand what you're feeling, may not know what you're going through, Platinum videos will give you some encouragement. It will help you through the day. It will help you to realize your inner strength. And that's what I love about him. His messages are so positive, and he is just a positive person all around. So guys, please head over to YouTube and subscribe to his channel. Platinum, go ahead, because I'm just, you know me, I just be.
I receive all of that, Alora. Like, it takes strength to be able to give other people strength, and you are epitome of that. And that's why, as we're traveling on this journey together, like, we're going to help shower favor, for each other, so other people can flourish and prosper as well. Because there's more like-minded people like us that join the train.
Right,
join the train, baby. We're growing. Yes. And I love it. I love this for us.
I love it too.
Oh, and Instagram _AJ Dex. Follow me there as well. Got material. I'll be sending out material in the near future. Also, and lastly, I'm also accepting clients because I went to Youngstown State University and I graduated with no loans, and I'm willing to teach individuals how to do the exact same thing. I'm taking juniors and seniors, also people that are traditional students and also non-traditional students. So I'm going across the board, and I am in the pursuit of purpose, not in the pursuit of profit. So I'm not going to bang over the head with prices, but brother got to eat.
Yes. So, yes.
If you're looking to have my services, you can DM me on Instagram or look me up on Facebook, Aaron J. Poindexter. Yes, Poindexter is my last name, indeed. Poindexter Strong. That's it.
Yes. So yes, guys, if you heard it here. If you guys are looking to further your education and you want to do it with no school loans, this is the man to teach you how to do it. Now listen, we know Biden been giving out them student loan forgiveness. So we don't even need to go through that process. If you guys are planning on going to college now, or if you're in school right now, get with my man Platinum P. He has done it. He graduated YSU, no student loans. So if you guys are looking to further your education and you are really serious about this, I promise you there's no scams, there's no gimmicks over here. Anyone who knows me, I don't get down like that and I don't represent anything like that. This man is legit. Give him a chance. I know he has a baby face and you're like, what can this young buck teach me? But I guarantee you the age you're probably thinking he is not. He's a grown man. So give my friend a chance because I believe in him, and I'm all about education and education without student loans. Because whether it's college or not, education is key. Education is power. And guys, before we end this, I want to remind you guys: if you're not ready today, it is okay. It is okay. Take it one day at a time. Everyone isn't meant to be in a relationship. Sometimes God takes his time to prepare people. And if you're single right now, do not let social media influence you and tell you, you ain't got a man. You ain't got a woman. Now, some of y'all don't need no mans or women. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Some of y'all will be going through these relationships every 30 days. Chill out. Chill out. Sit down. This message ain't for you. Sit down. Listen, no. But in all honesty, but nah, because this message might be particularly for them. Take a time to get to know you. I think my cousin said, have a long moment with yourself, so that you can know yourself. You understand? Knowing yourself is going to definitely prepare you for the road ahead in the relationship, because some people want to jump into this thing called marriage. Marriage is not for the faint of heart. It is work. It's not just a piece of paper. It's definitely work. So just remember that, guys. Love yourselves, but put yourself first for right now, and get to know yourself. Get to know what you're going to accept. Get to know what you're not willing to accept. Get to know your flaws. That way you not carry it into the next relationship. And most of all, you want to be able to love, baby. Because what's the point of it all if we ain't going to love passionately and wholeheartedly? Because when we get into these relationships, baby, I want to hear you. I want to hear y'all, but I want to know that y'all making that love. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about when I see you, baby, it's going off you. But anyways, guys, this has been the Lauren Hour podcast. Thank you so much for all the viewers who participated and who have stayed. I love all of you guys. Be blessed and have a wonderful week. Bye.